Okay, one shot. Now this will be extremely problematic in terms of how laggy it will be. So there are a couple of things that we need to do here, like absolutely need to do, is make sure first off we have zero loot on. And we hope for the best. That's all we can do in this one. Let's see. Now, the trick, like we said before, is to not kill too fast. And as you see, we severely handicapped our damage. The potential damage that the build even has. You can just tell that I'm already taking huge hits because we don't kill them quickly now. We actually don't want to kill them quickly. And that means that just at the start of this map, we are already getting really close to crashing because of it. Right, we go easy, now we open the breach. So again, we open the breach, we don't just outright kill everything. You want to go slow, not too slow because you don't want to get stun locked, but definitely not too fast. We want to take our time, get that beyond popping. And as you can see, literally everything we do gets a huge beyond response. Why? Because we purposefully created a situation where we can't kill them quickly. We will kill them just quickly enough to avoid a crash, but not so fast that it ruins our chance of a very good beyond response. As for coasters, that shouldn't be an issue. And again, we slow down. We don't get too close. We just try to get the highest possible beyond response we can get. Have to make sure we don't accidentally click the blight. And as you can see, it's extremely laggy, which I know sounds stupid, but that is what we want. That kind of proves the point. As soon as we have that, because usually these maps are not laggy. When they are laggy, you're doing something right. However stupid that might sound. Now again, it can be extremely difficult to try and avoid to accidentally click an abyss or a breach, but we'll try to do so anyway. And if we can, we move back and avoid getting lagged out to the point where the map is like unplayable, because that can happen. So it seems like two pierces, we've tested this before, is the butter zone. But the butter zone for what, right? I mean, nothing about this is desirable. The lag is insane. And it's really hard to keep control of what you're doing as well, because you will be moving fast with headhunter stacks. And the idea is to just slowly kill them. Not overshoot where you're running to, not overshoot and hit like one of those green dots, the abysses. So it's all about going slow. But not going so slow that you crash. And that is difficult. Because at some point you will get so much beyond response, like you see right now, right? That stand beyond boss right off the bat on this map, that it becomes kind of impossible to not crash. It's almost impossible to even walk properly. Yet all we're trying to do is create that. Is create that super response. Now we have to move away, right? We see it becomes way too laggy, so we just move back a little bit. And slowly try to get closer again. There we go. Now this is a less resistance map, which isn't good. So we kind of want to try and attempt Get out of the way, there we go, until we have control of the situation again, and then slowly move back. Because especially with these harbinger bosses, these islands of blue, it can get really laggy really fast. And I mean, there is a good chance of a crash here. But we're still gonna try. Just gonna keep going slow. Try and not panic, and as soon as things go out of our control, which happens now, you have to retreat. And as you can see, that loot bar is going up so fast now. And that is just because of the insane amount of monsters we kill by understanding exactly how Beyond works. This is not a matter of just kill them, because I can, right? You saw me in another video where I just walk through there, I hold down a button and they die so fast it's not even funny. But that's exactly what you don't want to do, especially if you want to create the highest possible monster density, then that is just what you don't want to do. That's difficult. It's really hard to kind of balance out how far you can push it without crashing, with how far you want to push it without dying, because there's also like a chance of dying. You have zero control over what you're doing, and you have no defense in terms of offense. Usually I always say offense is an extremely good defense. Well, forget about it, because we don't want to actually kill them quickly. Everything that we do has to be slow and methodical. So far we seem to be doing alright. Pretty much on course. But man, can we get more than last map? If we can get more than last map, I'm happy. The last map where we broke the record, we didn't use an incubator, so we actually have no idea. I'll try and go slow. Now, a couple important things, of course, breaches, we all know that. If we mess up breaches, that is a huge loss of monsters. Right? You've got the potential to lose something big there. So you kind of never want to mess those up. Those are the most important. If you have to, just cast. But in terms of better efficiency, it's best to just try and not kill them quickly. But yeah, easier said than done, right? Alright, let's do the incursions. And right now we are already at 8,000 monster kills. And we have to do the major breaches and abysses, which is a huge part of the eventual total kill count. But look at that, man, it's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And again, we want to go as slow as possible, although it's hard. And kind of balance out what we do at what point in time. Now we have to keep the area around our blight as less laggy as possible, because inherently it's already going to be super laggy. That is just what it is. Here we go. So again, we want these guys close together, but not so close that they kill us. because Alva is a huge contributor of loot, and getting killed in here would be a pretty big loss in terms of total monster kills and that stuff. Kinda want to avoid that. So again, slow and methodical is the way. And if you guys want to know exactly the amount of tests we did, I advise you to watch back one of the streams, and I think it's the 6-hour one from 3 days ago, and you will exactly see what I mean, where slow was so strong that it became impossible to complete the map. So we had to then pick the damage up again in order to even be able to complete it. So yeah, there is such a thing as too much beyond, but for what we are trying to do, there almost isn't, right? So again, going easy, not too easy of course. Create that density. That will be probably a lot of loot. 18 loot. Again, we try and be methodical and slow. Although one thing you never want to have happen is two of these things at the same time, because at some point you just can't handle what's going on anymore. So there is this. Here we go. See that beyond response? That is all beyond. Slowly creeping to 19. And you see those frames drop, right? And there, the lag that you see right now is in large part because of the beyond portals on the floor. That is a lot of what's doing that. The game has to render all those portals, and it is absolutely problematic. And this does feel like it could be even better than the last map, but that's still a bit subjective. We'll have to see if it really is. But just from walking here, we can tell that it's pretty big what's going on here. Get a big response, big beyond. And you see the loot bar on crack on the top left, bottom left side of the screen. It just goes jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. It doesn't know what to do. So again, we first try to get things under control, not run into that breach if we don't have to. And you can just tell how that goes up. And this is with what we learned. All that we're seeing right now is the direct result of all the study we've been doing on how to squeeze beyond for all it's worth. And that knowledge has been gathered over, well over 100 of these maps, where every time we changed things slightly, so changed one of the details a little bit, and then gathered information in terms of monster kill count, of splinters, and all those things put together created a situation where we could then finally draw conclusions and, get to the point where we're at now, where we can, use it for all it's worth. Squeeze the mechanics as much as we can. Now the aim actually here is to hit 22 loot even before we hit the blight. Is that possible? I don't know. We're gonna try. Because I feel that again we are doing better than the last test map we did. Way better. Not so much better for the server, but definitely better for what we're trying to do. Getting hit here by something, taking a bit of distance. And again, the beyond response is overwhelming. Which means we're doing something right. The one loot is in. We still have pretty much all breaches left. So I think we're right on track. As to how many monsters we killed so far, right now we are at 12,780, so closing in on 13k. With pretty much all of these breaches still left. 1, 2, 3. We have a strongbox. Oh yeah. I think we're good. Right on track. Okay, let's hope we can actually clear this without major crashes, because there is that possibility with this setup. And this is just the only map we have, so we kind of don't want to be wasting any breaches, any blights, any abysses. Everything has to be just so. It has to be, for lack of a better word, perfect. But when you get crowded, when you get attacked, when you see that energy shield go down and up so quickly, you kind of have that urge to hold down your button and spam like a crazy person. Which is exactly what you need to not do. Right, we know how this works now, and that is what you don't want to be doing. One loot is what we're creeping to. And as you can see, just walking becomes ever more difficult. Just walking around. Now we have that blight here, and we try to keep the area around the blight as lag-free as possible. We kind of succeeded with that. And before we do blight, we're going to change a couple of things, because blight is such a big contributor that failure really isn't an option. So we're going to revert some of the bottlenecks that we made, and make sure that we have the power to 100% sure clear it. There is no failing that. That would totally mess up everything. Closing in on 21. Though I gotta say, the placement on these breaches is really not optimal. Now, as you can see, this is by far the laggiest map we've done. So we are doing something right in terms of the mechanics. Right, we are triggering that as best we can. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're guaranteed like a record or anything. But I did feel I owe you guys a detailed run with a good, what's it called, an incubator on there, so you guys could actually see just how many monsters are on there. Because the highest we've ever hit was 19k on a test that we were actually measuring. And I simply feel that with the way we are abusing our Beyond, with this one, it has to be a 20k plus, probably. But we'll see. I might be wrong there. Go, max blight. Breach. Please don't crash. Great. 21 is here. And again, we have to kind of try and not go crazy on how we approach the cast speeds here. Try and not go too heavy. But it's difficult, man. I mean, you don't really see what's going on at all. So you kind of go off of what you think you need to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best. We'll see. These breach placements, though, are extremely bad. But that doesn't help us at all. One's a little better. You can see by the way it progresses, right? A little better on the placement, especially. But still suboptimal. You kind of want those breaches to spawn not near a wall. That is the worst place where it can get. And as you can see, this will probably not even be a 22 map. And this is why I said that it's extremely rare to hit 23. Not impossible, but extremely unlikely, I feel. And I think that just leaves us with the Blight. Now we can check how many monsters are in a Blight. But again, that varies wildly from Blight to Blight. You have Blights with a couple thousand, some close to 5,000. It kind of depends on the amount of total lanes. More lanes, more monsters. It's that simple. But as you can see, just walking here becomes a nightmare. Okay, like I said, first things first, we're going to be reverting back to our DPS setup that we need to have versus this Blight. And for that, we will be using the anomalous Val Spark. Oh. Make sure that we have that right MTX on there so we don't crash it. That really does help. It's a little less laggy than the normal one. And now we revert some changes. The first things first, we want to have the highest possible cost that we can get. Here we go. Cost 70, only 55. It's perfect. And this should be pretty much the setup where you can cost much more. Even though it's less on paper, it's way more in actual output. We have 6 pierces. And I think this should be good to go. In terms of kills, right now you are at 16,680. So it is kind of dependent on how much this Blight is going to spread out if we're going to hit a 20k. It is possible. Blight is a big contributor. So that'll be the last thing we do. Now let's see what Kazia is going to give us. That is a big Blight. That is a good one. Okay, and it also appears that everything is in this area here, which is absolutely perfect. I'm going to try and slow these guys down if it comes to that, if they get close. And again, however stupid this may sound, we want these guys to actually come to us. We want them close. If that makes any sense. Because again, only if they are close together, Beyond will do its thing. So this is actually what we're aiming for. Craziness here. Now you can see that loot bar go up, right? There is no denying how good this is. The only question is, can we, in fact, survive? Or do we get overrun? That's all there is to this. And as you can see, that is a crazy, crazy blight. Absolutely insane. Now we kind of want to calm down, however stupid that may sound, because we do want them to get out in order to make sure that we get that Beyond response, but with Shroudwalker, sometimes that becomes a bit tricky. So not cast too hard, and then cast really hard at the end. And then make sure that they're all there. Now we will not be hitting 22, it seems. But I'm pretty sure that was a lot of monsters in that last mechanic. So how much does a Blight give us? Here we go. So that's again 19,000 monsters. Having said that, I think we were extremely unlucky. I know that always sounds a bit shitty at the end of a test, but we've been extremely unlucky with the breach placement. And, you know, there is really no way to draw any conclusions off of one map other than that, again, we got close to 22 and we actually broke 22 on the other one almost even before we hit Kasia. Now there really isn't anything we can do here to hit that. I think we're just way too far off. It seems like we're close, but we're not. Even by doing the league content, right, using this stuff here, let's say we do that, and then you guys can see that it almost doesn't matter. That gives us pretty much nothing. That is a lot of degen. So as you can see, that adds nothing. Or certainly not enough, at least, to hit that 22. So yeah, once we hit that 22.3, I was really happy. But I didn't know how many monsters were on that, and probably will never know. That was a better map than this one. For sure, that's on YouTube if you guys want to see it. And I think we just have one more of those league thingies left, and then it's over. And again, 21.99, but I'm okay with that, because we already have proven that we can hit that 22, and maybe, like in a God tier 100% perfect map, you might hit 23. But I feel that's highly unlikely. Well, not just highly unlikely, it's a little bit unethical, right? Because what would you do? Go even more beyond? I don't know, man. It's pretty insane as is. And I don't feel that if every player would be doing this, we would have any kind of a stable server. So it's a bit unethical just pursuing it. But yeah, I just wanted to find out the limits, and I think we did. Or at least really close to what those limits are. You see those monsters like T-posing towards me? Jesus Christ, that is a lot of loot. You actually see corpses that are still T-posed. They don't render as dead enemies. They're standing here T-posed. Everything just kind of gets bugged out, like totally. See all these monsters just standing there. And the only reason this is happening is just because of way too many of these beyond portals, right? The game simply can't handle this. It's too much. Speaking of too much, just how much loot is on a map like this? Well, we won't know until we turn on loot. But I always feel that the best spot to do that is at the end of the map, where it's like a little bit more relaxed. You don't have any chance of crashing by turning on your loot filter. So let's try that. And then slowly move our way towards where we want to go. Now, oh, we've got some eggs there. Probably not enough to hit 22, but still. And I think as we loot like everything, like every little splinter, we might actually potentially still hit it. We get a few more eggs, but probably not. Although that might seem close, it's really not close. It's just pure insanity how many monsters you actually need to kill for just a little bit like this. But yeah, we got super unlucky with those breaches, as you guys saw. The Alvas, the last one, was pretty good. But we can tell by the amount of splinters that is next to her just how good it is. There is a big difference between getting all magic Alvas or just normal Alvas. So in the end, it's really hard to do just one map. But from the tests that we've done, we can draw the conclusion that just killing quickly, as fast as we can, by just making sure that we are unlimited in how fast we can spawn our sparks. No cast limitations, no pierce limitations, that kind of stuff. You barely get past 20 loot on a map like this. So simply put, way less beyond. Now, are there more insane ways to push this? Oh yeah. And I'm sure as hell will be doing that next league. Although, maybe in a slightly different way. A little less laggy. If possible. Kinda wonder what they will go with next league. Because I always try to kinda adapt the build to what the content demands, what it asks of you. And some leagues are really nice, and some leagues not so much. I mean, I really did like the Legion, the first Delirium League. Heist, I know, unpopular opinion, but not really my thing. I mean, at some point, exalts were like, what, 15 chaos, and that's when you kind of figure that maybe they did something wrong there. Total amount of splinters on this map, I don't know. Probably 450, 460. This isn't the best map for splinters. A lot of T-posing corpses that refuse to lay down. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of splinters. Oh, we got another egg down here. Maybe if we go slow a little bit. Nah, that won't get us to 22. Hey dude, how are you doing? Yeah, that's a lot of loot, man. I mean, I've been trying to kind of break some records here, but 22 loot, it only happened once, 22.3, and it was after some severe cuts to the build. I still feel that maybe this run I may have had too much cast speed or too much ability of cast speed, but it is just so tough to try and balance things out when you, at some point you just don't know what's going on anymore on the screen. There's so much lag, you're down to 1 frame per 2 seconds. So not 1 FPS, but 1 FP2F. And yeah, that it just becomes extremely difficult to balance things out. So how are you doing, man? What have you been doing this week? Well, real life goes on, right? It's kind of hard to combine sometimes with how demanding the game can be for like endgame content. But to be honest, this was a pretty decent league. I mean, I definitely like the way we can craft things with the new implicits. Something like this here. That is a pretty decent chest, right? You got 10% reservation efficiency and 20% increase effect of auras with like a total of 50% zealotry. That is a pretty big chest. And then you can get like 22% armor here. So yeah, they changed the way that stacking works, but it still kind of works. There's still like a way to set it up and make it happen. Oh, we have a few more eggs, guys. Few more eggs. But like I said, the amount of monsters that you'd need to hit that 22, that won't happen. Not from 1 or 2 eggs. Yes, that's true. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, we actually did everything we could to go to like 20 or something, but I wouldn't say that it was necessarily more effective than this is. In terms of damage, this is just fine. And in terms of safety, it might even be better than the old one was. But Ankel's definitely right. We had like Grace on there, and at some point you had so much reservation efficiency that you were just looking for auras that you didn't actually need, but just to have another one on. Plain simple. Because, you know, every aura gave like attack and cast speed, and it did have advantages, especially with the herald stacking as well. Oh man, this is a bit laggy. So yeah, and like you can see, we just cleared that tier 19, but, oh sorry, tier 16. No 22 loot and nothing special in the monster count. Having said that, I'm gonna watch the map back, and I think we had some extremely unlucky breach positionings there. Not only did they position close to the wall, meaning that you lose 50% of your theoretical spam possibility, right? The monster spawns. But also that they spawned in pretty much small areas, so this was a worst case scenario. And we almost still hit 22. I'm not sure. I'm still looting. We'll see. Maybe, maybe. Well guys, this might very well be the last 100% delirium strand with 13 breaches that I'll stream. Because plain and simple, we've been looking for it for 5 days and they aren't popping up anymore. So it's extremely rare to get one of these maps. Now if I do get another one, then yeah, I'll stream it. See if we can get something more out of it. But it seems to be kind of unlikely that we get more. Oh, we got another couple of acts. Ooh, tantalizingly close. Wait, did he still need a 21 purity of ice? I have that for explode. Just dropped it. Mm-hmm. 58 simulacrum splinters, so that was a pretty decent blight. For sure. Too bad those alphas were kinda meh. Few exalted shards here, not bad, not bad. I think it's actually close to an exalt just in this little pile here. We already passed an exalt. 1 exalt, 8 shards. Wait, what? Ankel! This could be a record. It already is a record, but it could be a 2 simulacrum, full 2 simulacrum splinter drop map. I just realized I wasn't paying attention, but damn. Dude, it is. No way, is it? Dude, it is. 606. Okay, so we did meet a goal. Okay, 606. Dude, I was thinking, dude, I'm picking up a lot of splinters, so this is the first. Guys, we fucking hit something here. This is 2 full simulacrums drops. And here I was going for 23 loot. But hey, I guess, you know, that is one of the aims that we had as well. So now we actually did have all our goals done. Wow. Well, I knew it was extremely laggy. Holy shit. That is... Dude, that is 618 splinters. $618 splinters. Well, guys, I would say that is a very good end of a very good league of extreme stuff. I will definitely be piping it down a little bit in the next weeks, just relaxing, preparing for the next league, seeing if there's like a few things that we can still do. But that's another record, guys. That is more than 2 simulacrums drop off of one map. That is insane. But that's what we love here. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I will be cutting the video. I'll be putting it up on YouTube. If you have any questions concerning Beyond mechanics or the way we set this up, find me there. Like always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.